Hey, what's going on guys, Saptesh here, back with another video. Now, the ROG Ally goes on sale in India on Flipkart via flash sale a couple of days from now on 7th of July. So in this video, we're going to discuss whether the ROG Ally is actually worth purchasing in India or not. I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of a buyer who is actually looking to use the ROG Ally as a potential laptop replacement. So instead of buying a laptop at around the same price, can someone actually purchase the ROG Ally and use it to replace a laptop, which is actually pretty relevant from the perspective of an Indian buyer, because here in India the market is much more PC oriented. It is not a console oriented market. So I'm pretty sure there are people who are thinking to purchase the ROG Ally as a potential laptop replacement. So we're going to talk about all these things in this video. But before that, if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. And also guys, join our Telegram community, link is down in the description. Engage in tech discussions, get one-on-one reviews of different laptops I talk about in these videos. There are people in the channel that actually own those laptops. You can have one-on-one discussions with them, get reviews from them, and also solve each other's problems and get alerted on the best tech deals the earliest. So make sure to join Telegram group, link is down in the description. With that said, let's get right into it. So I'm going to start with the actual price. So the ROG Ally with the Z1 Extreme, that is the processor that you actually want, is priced at I think $700 in the US of A, which translates to around 58,000 rupees or so if I'm not wrong. But the problem is, like usual, if it's priced at $700 in the USA, it will be overpriced at £700 in the UK. And obviously, since India and UK follow the same pricing, in India it's priced at 70,000 rupees, which is honestly, guys, this price tag of 70,000 rupees pretty much puts it in the very niche or luxury category, in my opinion. Is just that it. If it was priced at around 60,000 rupees or so, it would have still been more digestible. But at the moment, I think the ROG Ally is a little bit too expensive in the India and in the UK. So the pricing aside, if it is worth it or not, that will be depend upon you, your use case and all that things. But in my opinion, the ROG Ally, right off the bat in India at 70,000 rupees or 700 pounds, it's a bit too expensive. So that's it. Okay, with that said, let's move on to the pros of the ROG Ally. Why is the ROG Ally so special? Number one is basically the form factor. The ROG Ally is basically a handheld PC. It's not a console, guys. Let's not think about the ROG Ally as like a console. It's a PC. It's a dedicated PC at the palm of your hands. How cool is that? As personally, I have a big fascination towards ultra portable, powerful devices, and the ROG Ally fits the bill perfectly. It's almost like a dream machine for me. Such a powerful system at the palm of your hands. It's running Windows, guys. It's running an x86 CPU. It's running Windows. It's far more capable than any Android phone. Obviously, far more capable than an iPhone. Obviously, again, compared to an iPad, which is running a mobile operating system, the ROG Ally is just far more capable. This because not only because of the processor, which I'm going to talk about in the next section, the OS, a full desktop OS, and you can obviously change and use Linux on it as well. You can run virtual machines in it, obviously. So it's a Windows powered, powerful handheld PC, gaming PC, even you can say that, at the palm of your hands. So that just makes the ROG Ally very special and very, attractive. And talking about the performance, right? Like I said, the ROG Ally is a very powerful PC at the palm of your hands. It's not like a like a light version or so. It's a full-fledged high-end PC at the palm of your hand. So in terms of the performance, the ROG Ally is packing the Z1 Extreme processor, which is nothing but a slightly tweaked Ryzen 7 7840U, which is their Zen 4, the most powerful Zen 4 U series processor in their current generation lineup, is the real Zen 4 CPU. So it features 8 cores and 16 threads. Not sure about the boost clock, I kind of forgot. I think it goes up to like 4.8 or 4.5 gigahertz or something like that. And it is incredible. This CPU, I believe, is on par with the Apple M2 Pro. It's close to an Apple M2 Pro at least. Like, it's definitely better than a Apple M2 in terms of raw performance. I'm not talking about, special accelerated workloads where M2 can use its media engine and all those things. I'm talking about actual raw performance. the ROG Ally's Z1 Extreme or the 7840U, both in terms of performance as well as performance per watt, is actually close to an Apple M2 Pro. So that is incredible. And if you compare the ROG Ally with some CPUs that are available in big gaming laptops, that are popular in big gaming laptops, the Ryzen 7 6800H or the i7 12700H. If you look at some benchmark numbers, the ROG Ally when on handheld mode can run up to 30 watts. And at that power level, the ROG Ally is around 20% faster than a Ryzen 7 6800H, which also has 8 cores and 16 threads. And amazingly, the ROG Ally Z1 Extreme, it is 28% faster than the 14-core i7 12700H that you find in, the higher-end gaming laptops, generally around the 90,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees price range. So you can see the Z1 Extreme processor, which is based on obviously TSMC's 4nm architecture, is incredibly power efficient and also quite powerful. To continue talking about performance, let's talk about the GPU performance. So the ROG Ally is obviously like an APU, right? It has a RDNA 3i GPU, which runs up to, I think, 2700 megahertz or so, if I'm not wrong. And it's an APU, right? And the performance of this APU, the GPU part, is actually on par with an GTX 1650. So you can basically think of the ROG Ally like having a GTX 1650 laptop at the palm of your hands. One thing that I didn't mention is actually if you want to get the full performance out of a GTX 1650 laptop, you actually have to plug the laptop in. Without plugging in, the GTX 1650 cannot perform even close to an ROG Ally. Basically what I mean to say, the ROG Ally in handheld mode, basically you are not plugging in, you are using the ROG Ally in handheld mode without any kind of charger plugged in, on battery life, on battery power. It can easily outperform a GTX 1650 laptop. It can even outperform an RTX 3050 laptop. I'm pretty sure about it. Also, one more important point is emulation. The ROG Ally is perfect for emulation performance. The emulation performance of the ROG Ally is just amazing. The reason is because of the APU. The Z1 Extreme or all these Zen 4 processors, right? All the Zen 4 processors, starting with the 7640U all the way up to 7945HX. The entire lineup of Zen 4 processor in both laptops and on desktops have full support for AVX512 instruction set. I don't want to go into deep about AVX512 instruction set, what it is and what it does, but in simple words, AVX512 instruction set is incredibly useful in these types of emulators like RPCS3, which is used for emulating PS3 games. So, having this AVX512 instruction set support in the ROG Ally is incredible if you are going to emulate high-end consoles like the PlayStation 3. Believe it or not, guys, you can watch videos. I'll link some of them down below. The ROG Ally is actually quite capable at even emulating PS3. Just imagine, guys, emulating PS3 at the palm of your hands, like without even plugging the charger in. So that is incredible. So if you are planning to, instead of playing, Windows games or the latest games, if you're planning to use the ROG Ally as an emulation machine, it's a monster. The ROG Ally is just an emulation monster. Asus has their own proprietary eGPU setup called the ROG XG Mobile, which has GPU support up to the RTX 4090 mobile version. And obviously they cost a lot of money. I'll talk about this in a bit later. It's a double-edged sword. So, I mean, if you want to improve the performance of the GPU of the ROG Ally, if you want to take it to the next level, you can definitely purchase the ROG XG Mobile. Lastly, regarding the battery life, the ROG Ally has, I think, a 40 watt-hour battery. You can expect about 7.5 to 8 hours of battery life from the ROG Ally, which is just very good. It is good for watching movies, good enough for office tasks and all that. So, yeah, battery life, the battery is small, but obviously the small screen and the extremely power efficient CPU means you can get pretty good battery life doing regular lightweight office tasks. And also one more feature is that the ROG Ally can be charged using power banks. So you can charge it using USB-C if you have like a 45 watt or a 65 watt power bank. You can charge it using USB, which is a great solution. You don't have to plug, you don't need AC power to charge this ROG Ally. You can just charge it using USB-C. So that is another extremely great feature, especially in terms of portability. Okay, now let's talk about some of the cons of the ROG Ally. And in this section, I'm going to compare the ROG Ally in terms of practicality standpoint compared to a dedicated laptop. Now, what laptop should I compare it against? Now, this depends on your preferences, obviously, but from my logical standpoint, if someone is looking to purchase an ROG Ally, he or she may be looking for an ultra portable solution. So it's only fair to compare the ROG Ally against a really, an ultra portable laptop of a similar caliber in terms of performance. So in this department, I have chosen the Vivobook Pro 15 OLED, which has the Ryzen 5 5600H and an RTX 3050. This laptop also has an OLED display, and that's the reason I picked this laptop, because the ROG Ally also has a very good display. I wanted to compare against a very like-for-like laptop, a laptop that will be portable, thin and light, and also it'll have a good display and decent performance, right? So that's why I picked up the Vivobook Pro 15 to compare against the ROG Ally. And let me start with the cons, okay? See, the ROG Ally is a handheld, while the Vivobook Pro 15 is a full-fledged laptop. And here's the main conundrum, right? The ROG Ally is powerful, it is portable, but the problem is it is too small for practical use. You need to have a dedicated keyboard, mouse, and a monitor to use it effectively. The ROG Ally is not obviously practical compared to a dedicated laptop. A dedicated laptop has a keyboard, it has a bigger screen, and obviously that enables you to use it more practically. That is something that you have to decide, whether the ROG Ally's portability can overcome the practicality deficits of the ROG Ally. That is something that you have to decide, okay? Just the Windows interface, it's not touch oriented, it's not as good as a touchscreen device. You just need a keyboard and mouse to use Windows, okay? It's just not intuitive at all, in my opinion. Definitely, in terms of practicality standpoint, an actual laptop is just far better in terms of practicality standpoint, okay? Now, in terms of the performance, what the ROG Ally will not compete against is the RTX 3050. The 50-watt RTX 3050 inside this Vivobook 15 is definitely going to be much faster than the ROG Ally. The 3050 at 50 watts is definitely going to beat the ROG Ally's RDNA 3 780M iGPU, especially if you, I'm talking about if you plug the laptop in, okay? If you plug the laptop in, definitely the 3050 will outperform the ROG Ally. The 3050 also has better technologies, like it has better, encoders for H.264, H.265. The ROG Ally does have advantage for AV1 encoding, but in terms of H.264, H.265, the RTX 3050 will be definitely better, and also the 3050 will be better for more higher-end tasks like 3D. If you are doing 3D modeling, if you're using Blender and all, RTX 3050 can use its ray tracing cores for 3D modeling in Blender and all those things. So definitely, in terms of GPU performance, the laptops with 3050 and all, they will be better. Definitely, they will be better than the ROG Ally. Again, the ROG Ally can upgrade its GPU using the XG Mobile, but it is not practical. And here's my next point. The ROG Ally doesn't have the USB 4 port. The benefit of the USB 4 port would have been that you could have used, dedicated external eGPU docks where you can fit big desktop GPUs and you can upgrade those docks, and they will also be more cost effective. The problem with the XG Mobile is that, number one, the XG Mobile is proprietary. The XG Mobile is number two, the XG Mobile is using laptop GPUs, not the desktop GPUs. Number three, the XG Mobile cannot be upgraded. So once you buy the XG Mobile, obviously it'll get outdated at once the new GPUs will be out, and that's a con. And also it costs a lot more money. Yes, the XG Mobile does perform much better in terms of bandwidth. The XG Mobile can give you like 63 gigabits per second of bandwidth compared to 40 gigabits per second on USB 4. So in that situation, the XG Mobile does perform better than a dedicated RTX 4090, plugged in a eGPU solution. But again, this upgradability option is not there with the XG Mobile. So that's actually a big con of the ROG Ally. It doesn't have that USB 4 port. This just a missed opportunity from Asus. Regarding the display specifically, again, not only will be the laptop's display more practical, but in case of the Vivobook Pro 15, the laptop's, the OLED display will be definitely better for moving watching experience compared to the ROG Ally. The ROG Ally has an IPS display, and you cannot compare an IPS display with an OLED display. The OLED display will have far better, black levels because of the OLED characteristics where the pixels turn off. The Vivobook is also a higher peak brightness of 600 nits in HDR. So obviously, in terms of a viewing, entertainment or media consumption experience, the Vivobook will be far better. So yeah, this was a big video, a long video, I guess. I hope you enjoyed it, guys, because I decided to discuss each and every point. So yeah, do let me know your thoughts on the ROG Ally. Do let me know if you're looking to purchase the ROG Ally or not in the comment section. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Also, join the Telegram community. Link is down in the description. Engage in tech discussions. Help each other solve each other's problems. Get one-on-one reviews from others. And also get alerted on the best tech deals the earliest. With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.